Welcome back. This is price action, part 3. We've been doing a series on reading price action. And so in this one, I'm going to show some confirmation techniques to understand how we can use price action here. Now, just keep in mind, I'm not giving some dead set of instructions to just memorize. I'm pointing towards something with buyers and sellers and reading them and seeing their dynamics. But what I can do with understanding this, so just a reminder, we looked at price action in the previous series and we broke it down to a few things. Hard up, tail, opens and closes in its upper third. Hard up or hard down, opens in the bottom third, closes in the top third. Outside of the inside. And gap, wide range bar, bigger than the last 3 bars. Now we can use these. What are pivot requirements? Well, when we're looking at swings, and that's what we do, everything's in swings. These swings, as you'll see from some of my prior blogs, they will have a pivot component every time they pivot. It's a pivot, it's a hinge, right? It pivots, it goes the other way, it pivots, it goes the other way. So if we're trading swings, it helps to understand this pivot component. So there'll be a little pivot component in here on each end. Price will have a certain behavior it's doing. And what we can do is we can, because you never know when it's going to pivot and turn up, but what we can do is we can use some very significant price action like wide range bar, wide range hard up, wide range tail, wide range outside bar, because there's going to be some kind of turn going here. There's going to be some kind of violence in here, right? Say turn it, and it's going to be a significant supply demand shift. And so if I was making a set of instructions, I'd say, all right, if you're going to trade a swing, this is what's required for a pivot. A lot of pivots aren't going to come out this clean. But the ones that do, you'll see it's showing something very interesting, right? It's showing something very obvious. Just by learning to do this, you're going to learn a lot about price. It's a zoom retest. So we're looking at the pivot component. And what we're doing is saying, as price swings, when we get up here, give me any combination of one of these on the left side and one of these on the right side of the pivot. So this will be the left side of the pivot, right? Price is working its way up. This will be the right side of the pivot. Okay, so let me just model this out real quick and then we'll look for a few examples this week. I'm going to start out with the Aussie yen, which we just did in following live, so we can see how it could have been used on the blog as we were following this. But let me model some of this out so you can see what I'm talking about. So let's say we have price. And it's coming. Let's have it come down first. Well, we'll just start from here. So let's say we have price. Now what we're going to look for in a pivot is one of these guys. So it might look something like this, and then you get a gap. Okay, so it's going to be a wide range bar, and then as price comes back, if price comes back, it could be a push, right? It could just be pushing this mountain. We don't know. That's why it's confirming. So this would be a wide range bar gap on the left side of pivot. And now you can get any one of these combinations. It can be a tail on this side. It has to be a wide range bar, meaning bigger than the last 3 bars. That's what a wide range bar is. It could be an outside bar, and in this case it's a gap. And price could do something like this, and say maybe even give us another gap down. I think that would qualify as a pivot. Or it can be an outside bar, as long as it zooms, as long as it goes zooming through this gap, right? We want it to zoom through this gap. And this would be this is probably the easiest one to see, that happens the most. A gap on the left and a gap on the right. I just call it a gap swap. And you don't always get this thing to do a retest, but quite often it's going to do a retest, just like this. And so this would be a typical type of entry for me right here. Zoom, retest, because I know it just swapped. So what I'm talking about here is effort reversed. Get it? They take this thing, effort, bam, right? They're going up. They made a lot of effort to do that. And here they just proved to you. They proved it. They reversed that effort. They reversed that effort. And so it's no guarantee, but for instance, I might be in here, you know, with a big median line set on a big swing, you know, trying to get in. And so I'm going to use that as a pivot requirement. And then as price comes here, you know, it could do something like this, and maybe an outside bar. So I'm just going to do a couple examples, then we'll go and look at this week's markets. And so an outside bar. And in the prior videos, I taught you how to mark these. And again, what you're looking for, this is, everything's in swings. So what actually is happening here is, see, this effort, this becomes a very small swing low. See this effort, this becomes a swing. Why? Effort, what happens next? They knock it down. Boom. They return. What are they going to do? And then if we get something in here that says, let's say we zoom this puppy here, right, with a tail, wide range bar tail, right, zoom, effort reversed, and this becomes a swing. And any combination, it could be a gap on the left, tail on the right. It's got to zoom it though. It could be a tail on the left, gap on the right. It could be an outside bar, any combination. But it has to be a wide range bar, meaning bigger than the last 3 bars. And so it's a confirmation technique. And it doesn't always happen that cleanly at every pivot. And there's a relative aspect. These are basic series, keep in mind. But let me just show you that it does happen, okay? So this is from a market we followed in learning how to map the markets. Now, here's how it would be used. So I'm on a 90-minute chart. You can go back and look at that blog. And what we did was we were tracking swings, and we said, oh, we got a swing here, we got a swing here. Oh, it beat that swing. Maybe it's going down. So we turned around, we said, okay, we have a swing here, we have a swing here. And if I drew a median line set to that effect, right, I might be looking right in here for price to pivot, right? To make this pivot component here, make a pivot component here, and head on down. But maybe I don't want to just jump in. Okay, maybe it's too big of a stop. Maybe I want a confirmation. So I watch price as it approaches. And what am I looking for? One of these on the left and one of these on the right. So I have an area already marked out I'm thinking about. And you can see gap, that fits our gap. That's a wide range bar. Gap. And you mark it out. And then what you're going to look for is, price can come here, right? This is price telling you, this is following price. So what you're going to look for is price either holding, okay, then it's not a pivot, or zooming it with one of these on the left. Boom, zoom. So an entry might, for me, an entry would look like this, right? So I have a qualified piece of price action here and a qualified piece of price action here. See, it's a wide range bar, it's a wide range bar. And please understand, these are swings. These are swings. See, boom, 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 boom. Look, these are swings. This effort becomes a swing itself. See the mountain? See the valley? See it's its own swing. All right. And so what I'm literally doing is saying I'm looking for a swing like this, and I'm using this price action to show me the pivot component. You can see the pivot component. See how it's kind of steep? All right. One more quick example. Okay. Very quickly, you can see I'm down here in clean air. It's a possible pivot, and I'm looking for price action that outside bar. I have an outside bar on one side. This becomes, to me, this becomes effort. They came over here. They made the effort. They pushed it down. I even have another outside bar. Sellers are here. How do I know? Well, they knocked it down here. Zoom, gap. Okay, so you see this is like a swing all by itself. And we'll have to see how that turns out. One more quick example for you e-mini traders from last week. You want to get used to seeing these in various ways. I'm here on a 2-minute ES, okay, and let's see, where were we? There we go. So I'm here on a 2-minute ES. I'm watching. See? So imagine it's like this. You have a swing. You have a swing. You have a swing. You just made a new high. Okay. You can see. Right? You can see it cutting. Get used to seeing swings. Listen, these price action components are zoom retest the same way a swing is. Zoom retest. Let's say you're just over here. You draw a median line set. Say, where's price going? You can look at my latest median line set blogs. Say, all right, maybe something over here. I like this, right? We just made a new high, maybe, but look at it. Price is heading down. Price is heading down. I don't want to just jump in to something like this. Makes me a little worried. Price is just heading down. Okay. So I get an outside bar, I even get a gap right here. Do you see the gap? See the gap? See, it's the biggest bar. Notice this. Get in touch with price action here. So I'm looking at a swing, and just look at the shape of the top pivot. Right? I'm thinking maybe there's going to be a shape like that for the bottom. Look at the shape. Just look at the shape of the pivots. You'll get an idea. See, they're brothers. See? Shoo. Shoo, shoo. All right, so you get here. This is a big bar. It's not only a wide range bar, it's the biggest bar along here. And we know how to mark this. Just go to prior blogs, mark it like this. And so if I was to adhere to the requirements for a pivot, which are pretty strict, I need a wide range bar here, I need one on the other side. So here I'm not guessing about price. I know they sold it here. I know sellers are here, and they're trying to hold it. And I get on this side, learn to recognize it, a wide range bar gap, and on this side what? This fits the definition of a wide range bar, bigger than the last three bars, tail, closes in its upper third. And don't just look at the instruction, right? Feel it. What happened? They jacked it down. Shoom. Coming back up. And then you ask, what happens next? Pow! Right? If you can't see that price is turned, just draw a line. Look, price is turned. Right about at its swing. And so this becomes, and you can get your entries various ways. I generally will look for a retest there, and then look for this line to provide me targets. So I'll look for a retest in here. And again, we're just talking swings now. Swings. Gets a little sloppy, gets a little sloppy, gets a little sloppy. But notice, look at here. Look at. That area is holding the swap. I don't care how this looks. Learn to see in waves. This guy's trying it. It's doing a lot of jumping jacks, but it's trying. We don't know, but it's trying. This is the pivot. This fits our definition. All right, so you get the idea. And later on you can even find some interesting things about these areas later. All right, so hopefully you enjoyed that little quick price action run. And just remember, don't try to make it mechanical. At first, go through your charts and see where you see any of these combinations of the pivot. That's how you practice, right? It's not going to happen every 5 minutes because they're kind of strict requirements. Later on, you can learn how to see these relative. So, for instance, this is a relative gap. You have several of these, not a one bar gap. It's a relative gap. See them test it, hold, crack. So, relative wise, this is a relative gap. This is a relative gap. It's a gap swap. But first, learn to see it via one bar, okay? And you'll see you had a definite pivot change. And it's a mini swing, just like this is a major swing. This shoom is the same as shoom, shoom. So see if you can get that. This median line capturing this is the same as this median line capturing that. All right, so went a little bit long. Enjoy. Get that they're real buyers and sellers here, and ever gets reversed.